Hi folks, and welcome to this second Tech Talk. Thank you very much for all the lovely comments that I got on Facebook about the first one. It was great to read them, apart from one where there was a criticism that the check shirt I was wearing was clashing with the wallpaper behind me. Thanks for that, Chris. Sad to say, I only really own check shirts, so I think I'll make that a feature of these Tech Talks. I'll see how many different check shirts I can wear when we're doing them. This second Tech Talk is going to be a bit of an insight into film. Why film? I hear you all cry. Craig, you're a theatre technician. Well, most arts venues have got some form of projection equipment rattling around. Lots of theatres have. Pretty much all my working life in theatre, I've worked in venues where we've had projection equipment, we've screened films, etc. And currently at Eastwood Park Theatre, we screen films on a regular basis. We also do live streams of things like, sorry about that, we also do live streams of things like National Theatre, and from Covent Garden, streams of Royal Ballet and Royal Opera, etc. So a lot of the theatre technicians in this world are quite au fait with projection equipment. We've just taken delivery of a brand new digital cinema projector at Eastwood Park Theatre, and that kind of gave me the idea for this Tech Talk. I was struck by how much of an advance there has been, not only in front of the camera with the production of films, you know, special effects and green screen and all this kind of thing. The actual recording and distribution of film has changed massively, and this little Tech Talk is a problem a lot of us used to have. This used to strike fear into me when I was younger, but it's not really a big issue. Why? Not really a big issue now, and you'll see why. So let's crack on. What is it about? Subconsciously, you have all sat and watched a film, you know, usually old black and white ones, and you'll see strange marks appearing in the top right hand corner of the screen. They're just there for a split second, so you tend really not to pay any heed to them. There you go, there's an example of what I'm talking about. These little black circles. Like I say, it's only a split second, so your subconscious just kind of registers there was something there, and you forget about it. When I was picking out examples, I spotted this one and I thought I'll put this one in. It's quite a curious one. The other two were definite black circles. This was a definite black circle as well, but I picked this because it made me laugh. As a projectionist of films, I would have done this as well. There is a black circle there on the screen, but what's happened is at some point a projectionist has got a hold of that print, flipped it over, and using a pen or a needle or something has scratched the colour off of the print side of the cinemaid film. The reason being to make it clearer, so that the bright light from the lamp in the projector, when it's shining through, will make that stand out more. And I can see why the projectionist has done this. In this particular example, the actor here is driving a car, and here is the frame for the windscreen of the car, and this black dot is appearing at the top corner of the frame for the windscreen in the car. It's dark, as is the black circle. So the projectionist's been worried that he might miss that. So he scraped the colour off the film so that it stands out more, it's more obvious for him when he needs to see it. You're asking, why does he need to see it? Okay, let's get on with this tech talk. What are those little black circles for? Well, it's all to do with back in the day, using proper old, cinemaid film. Most films arriving at cinema would be 35mm format. The prints would arrive. Very rarely were commercial films made in smaller formats like 16mm or 8mm. Never really happened. The frame wasn't big enough to give you good picture quality, so 35mm was the standard. Nowadays, that's how your film arrives. The new DCP equipment that we've bought, our films will arrive on a hard drive and we just plug it in and away we go. Some DCP projectors, you literally plug into the internet, the distributor will download the film straight onto the hard drive of that projector. It's to stop piracy nowadays. But prior to that, this is how your film would arrive. So this is a 35mm print. The film was shot at 24 frames per second. So if you're talking about, an hour and a half long, 2 hour long film, that's an awful lot lengthwise of film. It was normally distributed in 1,000-foot or 2,000-foot reels. Judging by the size of these are probably 2,000-foot reels. 2,000 feet equates to approximately 22 minutes of on-screen time. So, quite a bit of arithmetic here. You can see that's over an hour and 40 minutes worth just sitting there if those cans are all full. Some of you might be thinking, what's all the faff? Why don't you just join it all together into one big reel? The problem there is twofold. The cinemaid plastic is actually really, really heavy, so a complete film was quite weighty. So it was broken down into manageable chunks for two reasons. The first, literally, so that the projectionist could lift it up into place onto the projector. And the second was, if the film was all in one big reel, the projector would probably destroy the film. It would chew it up. A bit like the chain in the cogs on your bike. There's the teeth on the cog that slot into the chain and to pull the chain round. If you can imagine, you've all seen 35mm film. Down the sides of 35mm film, there's little square holes all notched out at regular spacing. So inside the projector there's a series of sorry, I should have switched the alerts off. Inside the projector there's a series of sprockets with teeth on them that locate into the holes on the side of the film to pull it through the projector. All of that, if it was joined together in one huge reel, would be so heavy that mechanically these sprockets would struggle to pull the film through the projector without actually tearing it. The teeth on the sprockets would literally just chew up the edges of the film. So that's why it's in manageable chunks. But back to our problem. So we've got to operate with these various reels of film. So here's an example of a standard projection room in a cinema with two 35mm projectors sitting side by side. So back to the Wizard of Oz example there, you would load the first reel onto a projector, start it running. The film's now up and running. On the second projector, you would load the second reel, lace it through the projector. When this one's coming to an end, logic dictates that you start that one. When that one finishes, you take that off, load reel 3 and go backwards and forwards until you've went through all the reels in the film. That's the theory, but the actual changeover can be problematic. What happens if the projection is standing at reel 2, misses the fact that he's perilously close to the end of this, doesn't start this projector in time, so this one runs out of film. The audience are sitting looking at a flashing white light on the screen of the film. There's a disruption to the continuity of the film. That's not good. That's not what the audience want. So, getting back to these strange marks on the film. That's the solution there. That was what projectionists used to help them with the changeovers between reels of film. In 1930, I'm reading this so that I get it the right way around. In 1930, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences came up with this idea to use changeover cue marks. There were always pieces of film, scrap film, at the head of the reel and the tail, predominantly to help you lace the film properly through the projector without damaging the actual print. You know, you lace this kind of scrap stuff through so that you didn't damage the actual print. So their idea was, let's give the projectionist a fighting chance. We will put some kind of cue system on the end of each reel that you can synchronise with the start of the next reel. And you've all seen these kind of countdown images on 35mm film. So getting back to the changeovers, how does it work? What they did was quick bit of arithmetic. The film is shot at 24 frames per second. There are 16 frames in a foot of film, so 12 feet of film equals 8 seconds exactly. Their idea was, we'll put marks on the end of each reel that lets the projectionist know when the reel is about to run out. 2 sets of marks, 8 seconds apart, so a prompt that you're 8 seconds from the end of the first reel, and then the second prompt, that's it, about to run out. And to synchronise, to sync it up with the next reel, what we'll do is we'll have a definite start point on the film, which is 8 seconds out from the action. So this is what they came up with. This frame you would be able to find on the leader. It was 12 feet away from the start of the action on any spool or reel of film. So you would lace that up in the gate, the aperture where the light comes out in the projector, and you would know that you were exactly 12 feet away from the start of the action on the reel. So that's fine. You've got your leader laced up into the second projector. You've got the start point in the gate, which is down here. It's 12 feet from the start of the action. and you would see a countdown. The countdown only goes down to 3 though. From 3 feet onwards, the remainder of the leader is opaque, it's black, so that no light can get through. So what would happen is you're standing at the second projector, you're watching closely, and you would see the first cue mark would flicker on screen, and it literally is a split second. The cue mark is marked over 3 separate frames on the film. So like I say, it literally is a split second. When he sees that, he knows he's 8 seconds away from the first reel running out. He'll start the second projector running. So the first set of cue marks is known as the motor cue. It's to start the next projector running. He's got the next projector running. He's still watching the screen because he's looking out for the second set of cue marks, which will flash up for a split second on the screen. When he does that, he knows the first reel is about to end. He's got to change over. So the changeover used to be a mechanical process. It was 2 sets of shutters, two sets of dowsers. More modern projectors had an electronic version. But what would happen is at the changeover on the second set of cue marks, you would open a shutter on the second projector to let the light through, and simultaneously on the first projector a shutter would close to stop any light getting out. And that second set of cue marks is known as the changeover cue. If the projectionist is on the ball and has got it bang on, it's absolutely seamless. You don't notice any disruption to the continuity of the film. If he's a split second too early, the audience will see a split second of darkness. And if he's a little bit split second too late, there'll just be a blip. Sound wise, normally you'll notice in the soundtrack there'll just be a little blip, but subconsciously you forget that, you forgive that. So that is how it's done. But that was all a bit clunky. We're talking about 8 seconds, you know, out from the end of the film, and the countdown was all in feet, etc. So later on in 1960, the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers thought, let's make this even more bulletproof. Instead of counting down in feet, what we will do is we'll change the format to seconds. So after 1960, any countdown that you saw on the head of a reel of film was representing seconds. And prior to 1960, any countdown you saw on the film was telling you the distance in feet, 12 feet equaling 8 seconds worth of time on the film. So there you go. That is the answer to the mystery of little black dots appearing in the top right hand corner when you're watching a film. Like I say, it's not a big problem now. Everything arrives digitally nowadays. In cinemas and art centres, the projectionist will load the hard drive, start the film, put his feet up, have a cup of coffee, and more often than not, fall asleep. But I certainly remember when I was younger having to do the changeover on films. Doesn't matter whether it was the Academy format or the newer format. Oh my God, it was nerve-wracking. You were scared to blink in case you missed the second set of cue marks. So I hope you found that interesting. Now you know, and you can impress all your pals with this little nugget of information. Thanks for watching. We are desperate to get some feedback from all you guys out there. Any questions you have about theatre, music, gigs, film, There's lots of us at Eastwood Park Theatre who have lots of contacts, so if you have any questions, put them in the comments below this film or this video clip, and we will get back to you with an answer. Been fun doing number 2. Subscribe to the channel, and that way you'll get to see all the subsequent ones we do. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.